Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go. Our AI narration lets you delve into the wisdom of timeless books, extracting those golden nuggets of insight. Ready to dive into a world where beauty can be a trap and kindness can come from the most terrifying creatures.
Sounds intriguing.
That's Prythian,
Ah, Prythian.
the setting of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay.
And today, we're taking a deep dive into its fascinating depths.
Awesome.
We'll be exploring select excerpts from the novel, focusing on Faere's journey
Peter's journey, okay.
and the complex dynamics of the Fae world.
Right.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll understand this novel's key themes and characters,
All right.
and see how classic fantasy tropes explore deeper human experiences.
I'm excited to get started. What I find so striking about A Court of Thorns and Roses is how Maas takes familiar elements, like fairies and magic, and weaves them into a narrative that resonates with our own struggles and desires.
Absolutely. And it starts with Faerie, our protagonist.
Yeah.
She's introduced as a skilled huntress,
Okay.
fiercely protective of her family.
Right.
But Maas adds this interesting detail. Faerie is illiterate. It's a surprising vulnerability that challenges our assumptions about strength and resourcefulness.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. It makes you think about how we define those qualities, right?
Exactly.
Like, is traditional education the only way to be resourceful?
And this detail becomes even more significant later on.
How so?
When we consider how Faere's illiteracy is later exploited by the antagonist,
Oh, wow. I see.
it forces us to question the traditional hierarchies of power. Is physical prowess truly enough
That's a good question.
in a world where knowledge can be weaponized?
Yeah, knowledge is power, as they say.
But we see this resourcefulness right away in Faerie. She uses snares and her knowledge of the forest
Okay.
to provide for her family,
So she's definitely capable.
showcasing a different kind of intelligence,
Right, a practical kind of intelligence.
a practical wisdom born of necessity.
Exactly. And then we have the ash arrow,
The ash arrow.
an object steeped in both legend and desperation. We learn about the Ashwood's power against the Fae, its rarity highlighting the inherent danger of this magical race,
Right.
and the lengths humans must go to for protection.
The ash arrow becomes a symbol of Faere's difficult choices.
I see.
She debates its authenticity, its cost, and the implications of using it.
Revealing the desperation of her family's situation, I imagine.
Absolutely. And the weight of each decision she makes.
Right, because every action has consequences in this world. It's a microcosm of the larger conflict she'll face.
That's a great point.
Balancing her need to protect her family with the potential consequences of engaging with the Fae world.
Then we have the introduction of the wall,
The wall.
this imposing barrier separating the human and Fae realms.
Got it.
On the other side is Prythian,
Prythian.
a land shrouded in mystery and divided into 7 courts,
7 courts.
each ruled by a high lord.
Interesting.
The fact that humans who cross the wall never return adds a chilling layer of danger
Oh, wow.
and foreshadows the challenges Faerie will face.
So it's a one-way trip.
Pretty much. This lack of knowledge creates suspense.
Definitely.
Makes us wonder, what's so terrifying about Prythian that no human ever returns?
Yeah, it really sets the stage for a journey into the unknown, where everything familiar is upended.
When Faerie kills a wolf she believes is Fae,
Okay.
she's taken captive by Tamlin,
Tamlin.
the High Lord of the Spring Court.
The Spring Court.
But Tamlin isn't the monstrous captor you might expect.
Really?
Maas portrays him as both a fearsome beast
Okay.
and a surprisingly courteous figure.
So there's more to him than meets the eye.
It seems so. He's this powerful Fae who serves Faerie himself on their first night together,
That's unexpected.
a gesture that challenges our initial perception of him.
So it makes you question, is he truly a villain, or is there more to him than meets the eye?
Exactly. This complexity keeps us guessing and forces us to reconsider our preconceived notions of good and evil, captor and captive.
It sounds like Maas is really playing with our expectations.
She is. We soon learn about the Blight,
The blood.
a force that weakens Prythian's protective wards, allowing dangerous creatures to roam free.
Oh, it doesn't sound good.
And then there's Amarantha.
Amarantha.
The story's antagonist, a cruel high queen.
A cruel high queen.
Who has cursed Tamlin.
Okay.
And seized control of the Spring Court.
So she's the one behind all this chaos.
The blight represents the disruption and imbalance Amarantha has brought to Prythian.
I see.
A constant reminder of the stakes involved in Faere's journey.
Right, because her actions now have consequences for an entire world. Amarantha embodies the corrupting nature of power.
Yes.
She thrives on control and fear, taking sadistic pleasure in the suffering of others.
That's a good way to put it. This contrasts sharply with Tamlin, who, despite his flaws, genuinely cares for his people and wants to protect them.
It sounds like there's a real battle between good and evil brewing here. To free Tamlin from Amarantha's clutches, Faerie has to face 3 trials.
3 trials.
Each designed to exploit her vulnerabilities.
Her illiteracy, her fear, and her love for her family.
So she's being attacked on multiple fronts. These trials aren't just tests of strength or skill.
No.
They're psychological torture designed to expose Faere's weaknesses.
Right.
And force her to confront the darkest parts of herself. One example is the worm task.
The worm task.
Where Faerie is thrown into a terrifying labyrinth.
Okay.
And forced to outsmart a monstrous creature.
You can practically feel the terror as she claws her way to freedom.
This scene really highlights Faere's resourcefulness, her ability to think under pressure.
Yeah.
Even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds, she refuses to give up. It's a powerful message about the resilience of the human spirit.
It is.
Yeah.
And then we're introduced to Rhysand.
Rhysand.
The enigmatic High Lord of the Night Court.
The Night Court, so a different court from Tamlin's.
Yes. He's undeniably charming and handsome.
Okay.
Yet there's this underlying ruthlessness and power.
Interesting.
That makes him both alluring and terrifying.
So he's a bit of a wild card.
Rhysand is a fascinating foil to Tamlin. He challenges our assumptions about good and evil.
How so?
Forcing us to question whether the handsome, courteous Fae is truly the hero, and the dark, brooding one, the villain.
So he's turning those tropes on their heads?
Maas cleverly plays with these expectations, keeping us constantly on edge. One moment, Rhysand is terrifying Faerie.
Yeah.
The next, he's subtly undermining Amarantha.
So you never know what he's going to do next.
Exactly. He seems to be playing his own game.
It sounds like he has his own agenda.
And it's impossible to tell whose side he's truly on.
Right. He's a bit of a mystery. This ambiguity is key to his character, making him both intriguing and unpredictable.
Rhysand represents the moral gray areas that exist in real life. He's a character who defies easy categorization.
I see.
Forcing us to confront the complexity of human nature.
That's an important point.
And the choices we make when faced with difficult circumstances. Rhysand heals Faerie after one of her trials.
Okay.
But it comes at a price. Time spent in the Night Court. This bargain is marked on her skin.
On her skin?
With a permanent tattoo. A reminder of the consequences of her actions and the mysterious connection she now shares with Rhysand.
So it's a physical manifestation of their bond. This tattoo isn't just a physical mark.
No.
It symbolizes the lasting impact of Faere's choices.
Exactly.
And foreshadows the deepening relationship between her and Rhysand.
And a bond that will have profound implications for both of their futures.
It's a powerful reminder that even in a world of magic and fantasy, actions have consequences.
Yes.
And the choices we make can leave indelible marks on our lives.
But this is just the beginning of Faere's journey. We've only scratched the surface of this intricate world.
Right.
And the challenges she faces.
And that's what makes A Court of Thorns and Roses so captivating. We've gotten a glimpse of the complexities and dangers of Prythian.
Yeah.
But the real journey of discovery lies ahead.
So stay with us as we delve deeper into Faere's extraordinary story in part 2 of this deep dive.
I can't wait. So Faere's back in the human realm. But it's not exactly the happy homecoming she might have imagined.
No, not at all. The trauma of Prythian lingers, the weight of her actions. She killed to survive.
Right.
It's a stark reality.
Yeah, and that clashes with the seemingly mundane life she's returned to. We see this internal struggle most poignantly in her art.
Her art?
Faerie, was once passionate about painting, but now finds it frivolous.
Oh, interesting.
Compared to the life or death stakes she faced in Prythian, this guilt and shame she carries, it really highlights the deep psychological impact of her experiences.
It makes you think, can we truly return to normal after experiencing something extraordinary, something that fundamentally changes our understanding of the world.
It's a good question. And ourselves even.
And her family.
Mm-hmm.
Though thriving, thanks to a mysterious benefactor, they seem oblivious to the depths of her suffering.
Right.
This disconnect between Faerie and her loved ones underscores the chasm between the human and Fae worlds, a chasm that now exists within Faerie herself.
Makes you think about what home really means. Is it simply a place? Or is it a state of belonging, of shared understanding? And what happens when the place we call home no longer feels familiar? When the people we love seem like strangers?
And then there's the twist.
A twist.
That mysterious benefactor is none other than Rhysand.
Rhysand? Really?
The High Lord of the Night Court.
Wow. So suddenly his motivations become even more intriguing.
Right. Is he helping Fair's family out of genuine concern? Or is it a calculated move in some grander scheme?
This revelation adds a layer of complexity to Rhysand's character.
It does.
Blurring the lines between his darkness and his capacity for kindness, it forces us to reevaluate our assumptions about him.
Yeah. Is he a manipulator? A savior? Or perhaps both?
And remember that tattoo Rhysand gave Faerie?
It's a tattoo, yes.
It turns out to be a magical link,
What?
allowing him to sense her emotions, even see through her eye.
That's a violation.
It is. Yet there's also this strange intimacy to it. This raises questions about consent and agency, especially in a world where magic can be used for both good and ill.
Right. The tattoo becomes a symbol of the complex power dynamic between Faerie and Rhysand.
Yeah. He holds this undeniable power over her, yet he also uses it to protect her, blurring the lines between control and care.
Faerie tries to ignore these unsettling feelings, focusing on her family, even reconnecting with an old flame.
But something is missing.
She can't escape the pull of Prythian, the memory of Tamlin. It's a classic case of the heart wanting what it wants.
Yeah.
Even when the mind knows it might be dangerous.
Speaks to the enduring power of attraction.
Right.
Of those deep-seated desires that defy logic and reason. Faerie is drawn to Tamlin, despite the complexities of their relationship, and the looming threat of Amarantha.
And then we learn the truth about Tamlin's curse.
No.
Amarantha tricked him, promising to break a spell that stole his power if he could find a human girl willing to marry him. A girl who hated Fae and would kill one of his men. It's a cruel game, designed to break Tamlin and prove her point about the supposed untrustworthiness of humans.
This revelation casts Tamlin in a new light. He's not just a powerful Fae Lord, but a victim of manipulation.
Right.
Trapped in a situation with no easy answers. It forces us to re-examine our perceptions of him. To see him not as a fearsome captor, but as someone grappling with his own vulnerabilities.
To make matters worse,
No.
we learn about the full extent of Amarantha's cruelty. She's been systematically torturing the High Fae, stripping them of their wings, their magic, their very essence.
Oh, wow. This detail really heightens the stakes.
It does.
Transforming the story from a personal struggle for survival into a fight against tyranny and oppression, Amarantha becomes a symbol of the darkest aspects of power, the desire to control, to dominate, to inflict pain on others.
Yes, and she revels in her cruelties.
Showing the depths of depravity that can exist within those who hold absolute power. But here's the incredible thing.
What's that?
When Faerie learns the truth about Tamlin's curse and the suffering of the Fae, she doesn't hesitate. She decides to return to Prythian, to face Amarantha, and try to save Tamlin.
What a selfless act, driven by her love for him and her newfound understanding of the stakes involved.
This is a pivotal moment in Fairie's character arc. She's no longer the scared, selfish girl who first crossed the wall. She's become a woman of courage and conviction, willing to risk her life for what she believes in.
It's a powerful transformation, showcasing the power of love to overcome fear and inspire selfless action.
This decision sets the stage for the final showdown with Amarantha, a confrontation fraught with danger and uncertainty.
We're left on the edge of our seats wondering, will Faerie succeed in freeing Tamlin? What role will Rhysand play in all of this? And can Faerie survive the horrors that await her in Amarantha's clutches?
Those questions will be answered in the thrilling conclusion of this deep dive. Stay with us as we explore the final act of A Court of Thorns and Roses and uncover the surprising truths that lie at its heart.
We left off with Faerie, back in Prythian, ready to face Amarantha and free Tamlin. But getting back into Amarantha's stronghold, it's not a walk in the park.
No, it's not. She's smuggled in by Alice, who's disguised, to avoid, being caught. And this stronghold, it's more like a dungeon than a palace, filled with reminders of Amarantha's cruelty.
It's a far cry from the beauty of the Spring Court.
Right. Even under Amarantha's control, the Spring Court still had a sense of natural wonder.
Here, everything feels oppressive, suffocating. And then there's, well, the evidence of Amarantha's brutality.
It's meant to shock, to make us understand the stakes. This isn't just about saving Tamlin anymore.
No, it's about fighting tyranny, reclaiming freedom for everyone who's been silenced and tortured.
Exactly.
And fair. She's brought before Amarantha, forced to endure these humiliating, dangerous trials.
Amarantha's toying with her, breaking her down before the final blow.
These trials push Fair to her limits, both physically and emotionally. She's starved, beaten, forced to face her deepest fears.
But she doesn't give up, does she?
No. She clings to her determination, her love for Tamlin. It becomes her anchor.
That makes sense. In the sea of darkness, one trial that really stands out, the worm task.
Oh, the worm task.
Thrown into this underground labyrinth with this giant flesh-eating worm. You can practically feel the claustrophobia, the terror.
As a Fair claws her way to freedom, it's a visceral representation of her struggle.
Right. Against the external threat and her own internal doubts. This scene really highlights Fair's resourcefulness.
Yeah?
Thinking under pressure, even when faced with impossible odds, she refuses to give up. It's a powerful message.
I know.
About resilience, the human spirit.
And then there's Rhysand. He keeps appearing at these crucial moments.
Offering cryptic advice or veiled threats. Hard to tell what his game is, but it's clear he has his own agenda.
He's a wild card.
Isn't he? Absolutely. Operating in this moral gray area where his actions often contradict his words. He's a potential savior, but also a constant reminder of the bargain Fair made, the time she owes him in the Night Court.
It's like he's testing her, pushing her to see what she's capable of. But there's also this sense that he's protecting her.
Guiding her in his own way. It makes their dynamic fascinating.
And then we reach Fair's final task, the one designed to break her.
This is it.
She's given 3 daggers made of ashwood in order to kill 3 hooded figures.
It's a test of her humanity, her willingness to do whatever it takes to survive.
And the reveal of the first figure, a young, innocent Fae, is just devastating.
You see the conflict on Fair's face, the horror, but she knows that refusing will have consequences.
Not just for her, but for everyone she cares about. Fair's trapped in this system designed to corrupt and destroy, where even good intentions can lead to tragedy. It's a reminder of the human cost of tyranny.
And the toll it takes on those who resist.
But Fair doesn't break.
No.
She pushes through the pain, the despair, clinging to those memories of Tamlin, of the love and hope she found in the Spring Court. And in a twist, it's that love that becomes her weapon.
Her weapon.
Remember those words, those seemingly insignificant words, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered.
Yeah, I remember them.
Those words, spoken by Fair to connect with Tamlin, they become a powerful incantation, a symbol of defiance against Amarantha. They represent hope, the belief that even in darkness, something good can prevail. And then the magic happens.
Tell me.
Fair's love for Tamlin, combined with her spirit, unleashes a surge of power that shatters Amarantha's control. And we see Amarantha's true form.
This is it.
This monstrous creature, consumed by darkness and rage, the corruption at her core. It's breathtaking, this transformation, both for Fair and for Prythian. We witness the power of love, not as a weakness, but as a force that can vanquish evil and restore balance.
It's a classic trope, but Maas executes it with such emotional depth, it resonates on a whole new level.
Fair defeats Amarantha, frees Tamlin, and the other High Fae.
She's a hero.
But the victory comes at a price. She's changed, marked by the darkness she's faced and the power she's unleashed.
This is important. For her character, she emerges, not as the innocent girl, but as a powerful force, capable of both love and wrath. She's been forged in fire, and her transformation hints at the challenges and triumphs to come.
And that ending, Fair's not fully human anymore.
No.
She's Fae, or something in between.
And that tattoo.
The one Rhysand gave her.
It's not just a mark of their bargain, but a symbol of a deeper connection, a bond that will tie their fates together.
This ending is masterful. It leaves us with questions more than answers, hinting at the world Maas has created. It's a satisfying conclusion to this first installment, but it also makes you want to dive into the next book and continue the journey.
It's been an incredible deep dive into A Court of Thorns and Roses, a story that challenges our assumptions. about love, power, good and evil.
It reminds us that even in darkness, hope can endure. And love can be a catalyst for change. It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished reading. It makes you think about your own beliefs and the choices you make when faced with adversity. If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we encourage you to pick up A Court of Thorns and Roses and experience Faere's journey yourself. We've included a link in the show notes where you can purchase the book and start reading today.
And be sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more captivating explorations of the books and ideas that shape our world. Until next time, keep diving.